Louis, of course, the final game of pre-season now coming up here at Gateshead Stadium. So, I mean, first things first, how are you looking ahead to that? And as well, I suppose it's been a bit of a whirlwind in terms of pre-season going by quite quickly, that it feels like the last game's coming around already.
Yeah, it's going to be a good opportunity to finish off what has probably been a relatively successful pre-season. It's going to be a slightly different opposition to what we faced the majority of the pre-season. You know, we've had 3 tough tests against teams of higher opposition. We always had a couple of earlier friendlies against some local teams of lower kind of status in terms of the football pyramid. But Farsley Celtic's going to be, you know, a team that we expect a certain style of play, which we're really looking forward to testing ourselves against in preparation for the rest of the season. But it's going to be a real good game, a good, shall we say, practice of some concepts, some physical load for some of the players that return to training that have been injured of recent, and I think a good one mentally to be able to still attack the game, to prioritise our process and our concepts and go about it our way, so that we can cap off a full 6-week build up to the season with some real successful performances and some good scorelines that have come on the back of that work.
Yeah, and you mentioned the process as a whole there. How do you feel like you are with that ongoing process at the minute, in terms of especially bleeding those new boys who've come into it? I mean, obviously people like Owen are going to stand out because he's scored quite a few goals already, but not just him, but the rest of the boys who have come in and been trying to settle in.
I think we're reaping the rewards of the work that, you know, we've had for the last couple of seasons, this football club, in terms of the style of play. You know, myself and Rob took over last October and evolved that process, and have obviously put our own personal spin on a couple of the ideas. Obviously we were fully bought into the general concepts and the style of play before that, as being part of the coaching team. We made a conscious decision in the off-season to back the players that we had. We knew that we had players who were part of the football club on 12-month, 18-month cycles, and we wanted to extend that, knowing that if we've got a core of players that genuinely care about the football club, genuinely buy into our concepts and our style of play, that will reap the rewards, in terms of that we'll be able to start to layer up even more and delve deeper into the detail. So that's been really good on that front, and that the new boys have done so well to adapt to that, because they've got the benefit of working with so many players that understand the way that we want to do it, and who carry, you know, the roles and responsibilities that we ask them to, with, you know, real respect and independence on an individual basis. These individual boys have got them to bounce off, and they've adapted to the concepts really quickly. So yeah, it's been a real good period of learning, but it's been a lot of evolution for our current boys as well.
Yeah, and you mentioned new boys there. Of course, a couple of new faces. One new face and one not so new face coming into the building officially anyway today. But starting with Mark Beck, of course, someone who supporters last saw playing against. He's in the trophy final, and obviously you saw firsthand yourself playing against him, what kind of a player and kind of a threat he can be up front. But from what he's saying as well, it's obviously been quite a protracted, complicated process, I think, to getting him through the door. So how pleasing is it finally to just get that over the line before the season starts?
We're thrilled to have Mark Beck in the building. We identified him last season, within season, of how we could add to our squad profile, how we could provide a different attacking option, especially how we attack the final third and look to finish the attack with our boys. We've got some clear concepts and ideas how we do that, and Mark fits into that perfectly. Also, you know, looking ahead to when teams look to step on us, you know, because we do play out from the back and we use a lot of numbers and gravitate towards the ball. Some teams try to step on and suffocate us with space, you know, from the build-up phase. So knowing that we've got a base to bypass that and go from back to front, and then can build and play in their attacking half, you know, it adds extra dimensions to our style of play. And like I say, it adds a different profile to our overall squad map, and it's really important to have that, so that we can break down different oppositions, you know, play through different presses and different setups so that we can, you know, be prepared for on all fronts against all different opposition. So yeah, and ultimately as well, he's such an established number 9 at this level. He's going to score goals, A, from his quality, B, from the service that we'll give him, and probably the most important thing is that he's an individual on a human level that we know will add and help the group grow even further, and that's the bit that's probably the most satisfying thing, really.
Yeah, and in terms of the not so new face that we mentioned, in the former Tyrell Newton signing permanently, of course he's been on trial throughout pre-season. Supporters have seen him playing, and it seems like he's caught a few supporters' eyes with his performances over the course of pre-season. But what is it about him that's made you decide to bring him in officially?
Ultimately, Ty came in to training and have an opportunity to be in around the group, and I've not seen many players take an opportunity like he has when you do come in and train and look to earn a contract. I'm not going to kind of butter it up in terms of how it went about, but this is one very much on the gaffer. The gaffer's just got an unbelievable eye to see attributes of a player that, you know, might be, you know, one part of his game or how he can affect and, you know, improve the squad. And Tyrell's got a fantastic combination of technical and tactical ability and understanding, but also his physicality in terms of, you know, how he can deal with the ball under pressure and, you know, twist and turn his way out of pressure, how he can combine and play at a quick tempo, and also his output out of possession, whether it's, you know, the pressing, whether it's playing out wide and jumping in on the inside for the press or swinging around and keeping, you know, a solid shape. He shows a lot of potential on all fronts, and we're delighted to have him a part of him. And like I say, he's very much earned that, and also, you know, credit the gaffer because he's just someone that's seen his clips and said we need to have a real good look at him, and, you know, that's where we benefit from, you know, his eye and his knowledge and seeing a player and being able to go, this person's really going to add to us.
Yeah, and in terms of the whole picture of the squad ahead of tomorrow, particularly, of course, Greg and Wormo have been sort of back training a little bit today with their more recent, not too serious injuries as such, but sort of minor issues that have kept them out of action for the last couple of games or so. But good to see them back on the grass and getting involved a little bit again. Yeah,
it was. We're delighted to have them back on the grass, and actually a testament to how fit they came back from the off-season into pre-season, because them two were really putting out some real good physical numbers at the start of pre-season and games and training games. They've both had a little setback for 2-3 weeks due to their injuries, but the first session today they came back with enormous quality. It didn't look like they'd been away for long, if at all. So we've got to manage their transition back into the group now. They'll look to get some minutes tomorrow. You know, there might be you know, a process which they just got to buy into and bide time on the fact that unfortunately the timing of the injuries brought them back so close to the season, but they will get minutes next week and start to fully integrate into the group from next week ahead of the start of the season. So yeah, they're in a real good place and we're just delighted to have them back.